I guess we need an intro. Let's go.
Hey, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the Entrepreneur 360 podcast. Thank you very much again for checking in. Hey, before we get started, as always, please do us a favor, like, share, subscribe to the episode. Share this with anybody you feel might be of need, might hear something in the episode that you feel they could get value from. Please just go out there and share what we're doing here with someone else. It's the only way the episode gets out or the podcast gets out. And we're doing a really powerful part of the podcast as far as I'm concerned. It's one of the key core tenets of the podcast, obviously Entrepreneur 360. I feel like as we launch the podcast, the 360 side of things being that the podcast is holistic. It talks about health, body, mind, as well as business. That kind of overshadowed the business side of things. So we're bringing it back on track by starting a conversation with Shaun Els. If you don't know who Shaun Els is, please go check out his first episode where he kind of explains his background and why I consider him to be such a powerhouse in the world of business, and why I'm so grateful that he's agreed to kind of come on here on a regular basis and just share some of the value that he's got. He's absolute business powerhouse. And we're in this part of the podcast, the business coach part of the podcast, what we've done is basically put a request out there to the audience and said, hey, if you've got some business questions or what's the biggest problem in your business at the moment, please share them with us. And we'll try and answer them and help them. I mean, with Shaun's entrepreneurial background, and he comes from a very different business place than I do in terms of it's very consumer, it's very brand focused, whereas I've spent my business career mostly in the B2B space and the technology space. I think that we've got a good little thing going. I haven't even let him say hello. Hello, Shaun. How are you, bro?
Hello, Stevie. Nice to be back.
Yeah, bro, as always. So, bro, let's just jump straight into it. We've got a question, and by the way, guys, if you want to submit your questions, please do. But you don't have to wait around. You can either DM me, DM Shaun directly if you like. His details will be down below. DM me on Instagram. All of my details are down below. I think the best place to do it though would be in the Entrepreneur 360 Facebook page. Please come and join it. The link is down below, and you can just shoot your message in there or DM there. That's where this question comes from. It comes from a guy who asked the question, and it's not a very full question, but I think it's a pretty interesting question. And I think you're going to get super interesting angles because of the difference between Shaun and my experience. I just want to pause for 1 second because I've got a weird little message here, and I want to make sure that's okay. It's sorry, there's something strange going on there. Technology, bro. I'm still figuring it all out.
Myself.
So here's the question. Basically, I put out the question and said, what's the biggest challenge you've got in your business right now? And the question came back saying, getting started, finding clients from scratch. How the hell do you even do it? So it's basically, I like it because it's broad. It's not very specific. I did ask him, I said, all right, bro, like what kind of business are we talking about here? Give us a bit of context so that we've got something to work with. And he basically says it's business consulting, specializing in customer experience, insights, and research. Just starting out, a bit of a side hustle while I finish up on an existing contract with a big bank. Hoping to do it full-time in the coming months if I can get it off the ground. The business is fledgling, not even technically trading yet, mostly face-to-face intros, networking, working connections, no formal marketing yet, but only because it's not a going concern yet. All very green and new and exciting and nerve-wracking, but I'm eager to learn. So I flipping love this attitude, man. I actually said to him, brother, you speak my language in the second half there. You know that talking about all very green and new and exciting and nerve-wracking. Like I thrive on that risk-taking kind of mentality. And I think Shaun, you can relate to that obviously with your entrepreneurial background. But yeah, man, like what advice would you give to this guy in terms of getting started in a business? And again, it's a business, probably a B2B thing, obviously. But yeah, what's your take on it?
So I think everything, although we've progressed so much as society with technology and all these little apps that we use in order to try and canvas for business and stuff like that, one thing will always remain is that you are your business. And at the end of the day, you need those face-to-face interactions. You've got to get in front of the right people, no matter which way. You make sure that you are making appointments, you're getting time with the right people, and that you are impressive yourself. Don't come to a meeting half-baked or, unprepared. Know your stuff. If it sounds like he's been in the game a while, so I would imagine he would have a relative amount of knowledge. At the end of the day, everything's done on your relationships and your personality. Someone likes you, they're going to give you a chance. And I think, if I understand it correctly, you're probably selling time and not a product. So perhaps the incentive to give someone a couple of months for free to show him and impress him, or her for that matter, is probably the best route forward. I would make sure that I'm constantly networking. Ask your friends to get you in, and leads. Do as much as you can with regards to that. And I think, that time thing, give your time away for free and you'll make it up in the end.
Gotcha. Yeah, super interesting answer, Shawnee, because, and I think obviously, recognize where Shaun is coming from. As I said, he's talking from he obviously, his experience has been very much so in the branding space and in the clothing space, but you don't just sell clothes, bro. You've got to make those connections. And I agree with you 100%. Like, business is all about connections. What I would say, I think what immediately what Shaun started out by saying, and I agree 100%, is it's about credibility. One thing that I would definitely say to you in terms of answering this question, one of the things I would definitely say don't do, which I often see a lot of business owners do, and the mind boggles, because they get out in the business and they think, hey, cool, I'm going to get started. I've saved up a bit of money to get this started. I'm going to just throw it into marketing. And that often looks like making some very big and expensive mistakes, like running a Google ad, for example, or investing in SEO or something like that, or building a fancy website. Now, I shouldn't be saying this because I'm in the business of one of the things that I'm focused on at the moment is the digital agency that I've started. And I'm in the business of selling these kinds of services, SEO, Google Ads, social media, web design, etc. So I should be knocking down your door saying, let me do your marketing. I often say to these young businesses, your best marketing point, the question was basically finding clients from scratch, how the hell do you even do it? To Shaun's point, and this is what I'm reiterating to you, dude, you've got a network. It sounds like you've got a bit of experience working with a big bank, you're finishing off a contract. You've probably met a lot of people in that space. Go and talk to those people. It's called referral marketing, basically. It's referral marketing. It's networking. One thing I wouldn't do is don't go spending a dime on big, expensive ad campaigns, no matter how good the marketing salesman, the marketing agency salesman is. Do something, and another thing I love what Shaun said over here was give away a bit of time for free. Even if that time comes in the format of going out to networking meetings. And you might be used to, maybe you've been working for a big bank and they've been seeing, covering your costs on marketing, things like that. So you're used to sitting on your ass at home and just chilling and not having to do any work to lead generate. It's time. If you are starting your own business, you've got to hustle and you've got to make the time to go out and find the leads. So rely on the network that you've got. Be honest with people and be open with them and transparent. Say to them, hey guys, one of the things I love about this question was super, super honest, and it was in public, it was on the Entrepreneur 360 Facebook page. Getting started, finding clients from scratch. How the hell do you even do that? Like, that's super, super open and transparent, and make yourself super vulnerable. So, dude, I don't know, I need help. That's awesome. Have that sort of vulnerability and that sort of openness with your network and say, dude, I'm going out on my own, I'm taking the plunge. Can you help me find leads? And you'd be surprised the support you can find from people who actually know, like, and trust you and love you and say, hey, dude, I've got your back, bro. We've all started from the ground up at some point. Let me help you out. Let me introduce you to this guy with that guy.
If you can accept that your first couple of meetings are going to be a car crash, right? You know what to expect, right? Don't go in expecting to get a contract. Go in open to learn. Understand the art of trying to canvas and get to grips with the questions that are going to be asked. Make a note of that. Go away. Study the questions, because these questions are asked throughout the history of time. It's the same question, just packaged differently every time. Different jargon, different lingo, but those questions are a mainstay. Once you learn how to answer the core questions correctly, you'll be unstoppable. You add your own personality, your own spices, and that's who you become in the end, right? People will invest in you rather than your product, because they want to make sure that you are going to drive what everyone else can give them, but it's you. You are that person that they've chosen, right? You're the individual. You need to take that business on a journey. And I think from my side of things, I work with personalities. I have to get on with you first. You have to be right for my brand. You have to be right for my business. And sometimes you're not, and that's okay. But you will learn something in failure. You will always learn something in failure, and you will make money in success. Both ways, you're always winning.
What a glowing recommendation that is of me. Let me just say that, because the fact that Shaun's agreed to come on here tells me that he likes me as a guy. And I mean, the fact that I've known him since I was 5 years old, it really does. I can't tell you how authentic what Shaun just said is. I've known the guy literally almost all my life, and he's 100%. Not only is he a handsome mofo, as you can see,
Thanks,
but
Steve.
he's 100% right. He's super charming. And I don't mean that in the sleazy kind of way. He is a super charming dude. He's an easy to get along with guy. And I think, and the person who asked this question, I'm not going to put your name in, even though you didn't say anything about the confidentiality of this, but if people are interested, they can find who it is. But I know you as well, bro. I remember you from years back. You're also a good old. You're a nice guy. You're a fun guy to know. You've got a personality. 100,000% what Shaun's saying is right. The questions are always going to be the same. All you have to do is inject your personality and talk about and make the person who you're selling to, and that's what you're doing here. You can't sell it. Make sure that the person who you're selling to buys that you are the dude. They can get this service done by anybody in the business, but you are the dude who's going to do it better for them. You're going to have it better than anybody else.
For sure. And then you build up a reputation, and then your reputation precedes you, and that is business. That's the way that it works. But don't talk about it. Don't be one of those guys that had a great idea. Turn that great idea into a working reality. Because there's so many people that have great ideas and they're happy to tell you about them, and or somebody else copied their idea. That's why they never did it. Don't be that guy. Get in front of people, accept the no, because the hardest part, the easiest and the hardest part of becoming an entrepreneur is being comfortable with that word no. The more you can accept it, right, the better it is going to be for you, because it builds your character.
Beautiful, bro. And I would just add, the one thing I just want to add to this as well is, and this is purely a marketing thing. So when you go out there and you are setting up these meetings, I think one of the things that Shaun shared that is so helpful is get the questions ready. Make sure you're prepared and know the answers to the questions. Inject your personality. One thing I will say to you, this comes from a business to business perspective, but just a general marketing rule of thumb in marketing. Don't make it about yourself. Make it about them. So I see this all too often in marketing campaigns where a website has this amazingly expensive website or tool or whatever built, and there at the top, the main header at the top of the website is, we are the best at doing this, and I'm like, nobody cares that you are the best. They only care about themselves. People care about themselves. We're all selfish. We only care about what's in it for me. Talk that language. Tell them what's in it for them. Tell them why they should hire you or use you for their business consulting. What are they going to get out of it? We all care only about ourselves. So don't go in there going, hey, I really need this check and I really need you to sign the lot. Nobody cares what you need. They care what they need. So kind of try and tailor your messaging to that side of the argument rather than to me. Think about them. Always tell me what's in it for them.
And I think what goes without saying, Steve, the obvious one to this is start small. Don't go and sit with FNB or Standard Bank or Investec on day one. Go and take it easy. Go have a word with your mother's first cousin who owns a butcher around the corner. Cut your teeth on the small guys first, because they are going to be your hardest to deal with, because their cash is almost, they keep it in the business. Cut your teeth on the harder guys and work your way. You're not a large enterprise yet. You're not a small medium entity yet. You're a startup, and you have to try and work within that startup world.
Beautiful. Yeah. If you are interested, and I'm sure Shaun's probably got his own methodology for this, but the methodology for what Shaun just shared that I used was a book called The Lean Startup, and it's a concept called Build, Measure, Learn, where you basically make your mistakes, but make them small and cheap rather than big and expensive. So spending an hour with a butcher around the corner, like Shaun says, super cheap, but you're going to learn a lot. And then as you start getting into the banks and start getting into the bigger businesses, you've learned all those big mistakes and you've had the frustration, you can make sure that you knock it out the park over and over and over.
Absolutely. And your day will come as long as you put in the work today.
Dude, Shaun, thank you, bro.
Thanks,
brother, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully other people listening found some value in that. Obviously, the actual question, where do you start finding new business and finding leads and all this stuff? We could be here for 20 days, 20 years discussing that in different ways. And, there are a million different ways to go about that. But hopefully for the specific angle of the question being asked, we've answered that, and that's our take on it. You can ask other people. If you do want more information or whatever, reach out to us. I'm sure we'll be happy to have a call with you and see if we can help you out.
And I'd like to revisit this in a couple of months and see how far along this particular question one. And also, as Steve said, open to more questions around this. So if you're not sure,
that's a great idea, Shaun. I like that idea. I'll make a point of that then is to revisit these questions, because we plan to do this quite regularly, guys. So please tune in some more. I'll start to tag the episode title with something that shows that this is what this episode's going to be about. And Shaun, as always, brother,
have a lovely weekend, bro.
You too, my friend.